so that everybody can refer back to it. And what we're going to go over today is just a basic introduction to the NUVI platform. There are some changes coming in 2018, probably in Q1, so I anticipate we'll have to do another training to go over any of the new features that come up. But first, once you get to the NUVI platform, you'll go ahead and log in. Now, first and foremost, you want to make sure you're on the Chrome browser, which is the best browser to view NUVI in. So please make sure if you're having any difficulty posting or pulling reports, make sure that you've logged in on the right browser. And then I'm going to go ahead and log into my account, which is a admin account, but you'll be able to log in either using your properties login, or if you don't have a login yet, reach out, and they are now, it's set so that you would get an individualized email, so the login would be based on your email address, which makes it much easier if you forget the login, because then you can just do a nice simple email reset. So again, the first thing we're going to go over today is actually publishing, which is where we will publish all of our content. We're going to take a quick look within that publishing section as well of not only how we actually post, but how we can save drafts and also how we can schedule content. The other thing that we'll look at is how we add new channels. And we'll talk about, there's one special one with Instagram, because in order to schedule ahead of time or even post to the channel, you'll need to set up a phone connection so that you get a message, and we'll talk more about that. Then we will also talk about channels, which is where we do all of our reporting. So we'll be able to view our overall analytics, and I'll show you how to run the reports. And those are very simple. You can do that at any time, and you can use it. We do them on a quarterly basis when we have our quarterly social review call. We look at the performance of the channels overall, but you can pull it on a weekly basis, a daily basis, it doesn't matter. We'll go over that. And then we'll very briefly pop into monitors. There is a full monitors training on our YouTube channel already, so I won't go into it too in-depth, but it is a valuable part of the platform. Now you'll notice audiences here as well. You can research, you can kind of put in some specific parameters, and it will give you some analytics about a particular audience through kind of Facebook conversations and other Facebook data. We won't go into audiences at all today because it's a shared feature that all of our properties would have to use together because there's only a certain number of search results that we can get back. So that's something that we haven't used too much. Monitors is more specific for property by property. Are there any particular questions or things we need to focus on before I dive into the training?
Nope.
Okay. So we'll go ahead, and the first step for us today is within our publishing platform. It brings us into an overview section, and within this overview section, it gives us a quick snapshot right at the top of how many posts we have done through NUVI in total and how many posts we have done this week. Now, bear in mind, I'm logged in right now to my Greenwood Hospitality Group platform, so this is, while it's used primarily by our human resources and recruiting team, so if I were to go into any of our individual properties, let's see, as an example, if I went into Oklahoma City, you can see they have 3 posts this week, 294 total to the platform. And on this overview platform, it again breaks it down with the basic information at the top. It shows you all of your scheduled posts over here on the left, and then any draft posts you have on the right-hand side. It also shows you screenshots or basic previews of the recently published posts that you've had, and you can click into any of these to see what platforms they were posted on and click into them to edit the post as you need to. So you can see here all of the other ones that have been scheduled and gone out. So this is the overview section. Within the scheduled posts and the draft posts, you see this pencil option here. You can go in and edit any of those posts. It also makes bright the platforms that it was scheduled to go out to. So you can see this one, this post only went to Facebook. This one, which is a hotel photo, went both to Facebook and Google+, and you can see the same as so for this other promotional content about New Year's Eve. So that's the overview tab of our publishing section. We also have the main page here for us is our composition page. So I have the option here where I would type in any copies. So there's three main parts to any of the posts that we're doing. The first is the actual copy itself. So I would be able to put in all of that. So let's say I do the copy, that's great. And then I can also do a photo or video. Now if I do a video that's, if I do a photo or a video, that's all I can have is the copy and a photo or video with a link. However, NUVI does also allow you to create a link preview. So I'll show you what both of those look like. So let's say, as an example, I'm talking about a cool training or a cool tool called Canva. Once I paste the link in and I hit the space bar or enter, it doesn't matter, it will populate a preview. This functionality is the same as it would be in Facebook. So it's pretty intuitive. Once the preview has populated, I can actually delete the actual link from the copy, which is great because it clears that all up and makes it look nice and clean. Now the trick is that with Facebook, it no longer allows you to personalize the link. So you're not able to change what the heading or the body looks like. There are some changes you can make to the photos that are there, but generally speaking, Facebook has closed all of this out. You'll notice that NUVI will still let you make these changes because there are still some other platforms that allow that. But once I select Facebook, you'll notice there's an exclamation point that comes up next to it saying that it recently stopped allowing users to customize link details. The feature is now disabled when posting to Facebook. So you'll see I can't make any more changes to that. Any questions about that so far?
No. I guess it's probably going to be more easy to learn to get in there and play with it. You know what I mean?
Yes,
like start using it, right?
Mm-hmm. It certainly is.
Okay.
And again, it's very, very similar to Facebook. So if you're used to posting on your own timeline or the timeline for the hotel through the Facebook page or app, then this is going to be very intuitive. Okay. So the workaround, let's say I do want to post to Facebook and I want to include a link, but I need to do a custom photo. So this might be a good example if I was posting a link to book at the hotel, but the photo that was on that special booking link was ugly or it didn't exist. In that case, I might want to not have a link preview. I might want to just have the link in the body and attach my own photo or video. So let's say as an example, I wanted to do a holiday photo. I'm just going to choose one of the ones from our properties that are doing some great community service stuff. So I might choose my copy, include the link, and then include a photo or a video, and that would be just fine. So that would be my workaround. My photo will appear big, and the link will appear small within the body of the text.
Okay.
So those are three main sections. So your copy, your content, which is your photo or your video, and your link. And then the third and final is tagging. So this would be @tags or hashtags. When you post through Facebook natively, you can use the @ button to find a page or a person. So let's say I want to post at the Radisson Cross Keys. When I'm on Facebook, I would just hit @Radisson, and then it would populate all of the Radisson properties, and I would just be able to narrow it down by saying Cross Keys or whatever the case may be. Because that search feature is really huge, it's not currently available in NUVI. So if you wanted to post at a particular business page, you can schedule it through NUVI, and that's not a problem, and you'll need to go in later on and edit the post in Facebook. It's not generally a big deal for most of our properties. A lot of our properties are not doing a lot of heavy tagging, but if you do, either you can, I recommend scheduling through NUVI and then making the edit once it's been posted out on Facebook. Or, of course, for posts like that, you can post directly through Facebook if that's your preference. So hashtagging, however, does work. If I'm doing a link and I don't want to use the link preview, I want to make sure that my copy here stays as clean as possible. So if I'm doing a post about happy holidays, I might say happy holidays at the beginning, as opposed to in line with the text. So happy holidays to all of our customers, as opposed to saying I might type hashtag happy holidays to all of our customers, as opposed to saying happy holidays to all of our customers, hashtag happy holidays. So that's a good practice anyway, but it's a great way to make sure that your copy is staying nice and concise. So you can do that within the body of your text or add it afterwards. You'll notice that then it becomes green, showing that it is officially hashtagged. And it's a good way to make sure, let's say I wanted to say happy holidays, and I did happy holidays. I'm sorry, let me do this one more time. I did happy holidays. I recognize right away that the holidays part isn't attached to that hashtag, so I know now that I need to make an edit to it. The same is so if I do any kind of period or anything like that, it doesn't appear there. So I need to make sure that it's straight through the whole tag that I want to use. Any questions about that so far?
Facebook doesn't do that, does it?
Facebook does hashtagging, but it doesn't make it appear green.
It doesn't. But will it recognize if something's wrong, like a period's in it?
It will not.
No, yeah, that's what I mean. This is awesome.
Now, the one thing that there is a feature request that we have in with NUVI that we've been waiting for, which is you'll notice if I misspell the word copy, it doesn't give me any kind of an underline. So this is a feature request that's out with NUVI right now. So happy.holidays would appear as wrong, but crappy frolic drays would not.
Right. Funny.
So it wouldn't appear that that's wrong. So just be mindful that when you're typing, you need to make sure keystrokes are concise. So that's generally how you would do your posts. You have the option to post this out right now to whatever channel you like. So you'll notice here that they use Instagram, Google+, and Facebook. Now, a reminder that Twitter, Google+, and Facebook. Twitter only allows 280 characters at this time. So if you have a really long paragraph, only 280 characters are going to come through on Twitter. Whereas if you're on Facebook or Google+, you'll have the See More option that appears at the bottom of the text. So I always recommend keeping it short and concise anyway, but descriptive so that you can see what's in the photo. Or rather, you can tell what's in the photo or the link or the post without it being there. But yes, you'll be able to post out to that. So just be mindful of the size of your copy. So I have the options here. I can publish this post right now, and it will go out to any of the channels that I've selected, or I can save it as a draft, which I will do right now. Now I can keep working or start a new post. So I'm going to go ahead and keep working, but I want to go back to this overview page, and you'll notice that now this draft post is here. So I can click back into it as I did before, or I can visit it through the drafts page, and it will show me all of the drafts that are listed. And again, I'm going to go in here and make an edit, and now I can schedule this post. So I can schedule it for any day that I'd like. I always recommend doing a time that's not on the hour because it appears very pre-scheduled. So let's say I did 2:54 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to set date and time, and then I can hit schedule so the date is selected. So I can schedule this post. It's ready to be updated. Are you sure you want to publish the update? And then I can go ahead and do that. And I'm going to view the calendar page because it says your post was successfully saved and scheduled for Wednesday, January 17th. So I'm going to view the calendar page, which is another page we haven't gone into yet. But this is currently December, so I'll pop over to January of 2018. And you'll see that I have my post scheduled for the 17th. So this is one of two posts. I have a Happy Birthday Jerry post as well. So I'm going to go ahead and edit this one. And I can save it as a draft again if I'd like to, or reschedule it for a different day. I can make an edit to this time. Or I can just delete the schedule altogether. So if I save this as a draft, I'm sorry, Rob, did you have a question?
Yeah, I'm sorry. It just sounded like a stutter right there. When you just delete it, did that just delete the schedule for the post, or did that delete the entire post?
It deleted the schedule for the post. So if I go back to January 17th, you'll see that it's only showing me one post here. So deleting the schedule doesn't delete the post in its entirety. I can go back to this drafts menu, and you'll notice that it still appears there.
Right.
So
So
now,
how do you, go ahead.
if you want to delete the post in its entirety, you can do so from the overview page or the draft page or the calendar page, depending. There's always a little garbage bin that appears there, and you can delete the post in its entirety.
Thank you. Okay.
You're welcome. Any questions about posts so far? We talked about the post itself, how we can add copy, how we can add tags, the two ways that we can add links, and the way that we can add photos and video. Any other questions about that?
Can I, from this, can I edit posts I've already made, or do I have to go into the individual site to do that?
You can edit posts that you've already made. I'll show you how you can do that. One other thing I want to note here is that we do have emoji capabilities within NUVI, so we have a pretty robust pretty robust emoji keyboard, not calendar. So you would be able to go ahead and add those to your content as well. So to answer your question, Jesse, if I'm looking to change a post that I've already done, so if I go back to the overview page, you'll notice recently published posts. The pencil functionality still appears there, so I can go in and make that edit.
Now, I just posted a photo, and the pencil is not appearing there for me.
Let me take a look for you.
It's these weird little bubbles, kind of like a loading thing. Not sure why.
I'm not sure either. I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the Amherst one, and we'll take a look. So let's say, as an example, the Jocko one, you're not seeing the edit button?
Yeah, that's weird. Mine doesn't have an edit button there. That's okay. I was just curious.
I'm actually going to take a quick jump over to our admin page because this is actually one area that I'm going to show you all as well about how to add new channels. So first I'm going to just take a quick look, Jesse, at your account and make sure that you have the right permissions. So manage portfolios, manage profiles, contribute on channels, manage monitors, publish posts, and manage reports. So we'll give that a try again. I've opened your permissions up completely, so if you log out and log back
there
in,
now.
It should appear for you. So I think it might have just been a recording issue. So that's all set. The one other thing that we'll take a look at while we're in here, this is how your platform would look if you're logged into the admin section, which always appears at the top bar. You can go into channels from administration, not from channels. Let me do this one more time with feeling. So from your channels, you have the option to add a channel monitor, but what I want to do is actually go through the admin platform and add a channel that way. So let's see, we have our social profiles button option here. Hopefully it appears properly for me. Internal server. Okay, so we're going to do the other way then. So from your channels platform, you have all of your, I've got Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. This is all for the routers and cross keys. These are all attached. I can add a channel monitor. No, that's not what I want to do. I want to add a social profile. And I don't have my add button there. Let me take a gander. Fun fact also, while we're here, if you go to the main NUVI page, I guess it's not there anymore. They used to have a chat feature and now it's disabled. So if you have any difficulty, you can always send me a note and let me know. We have a specific contact with NUVI that manages the Greenwood portfolio. So if you're ever coming to a point where you are, let's say, going to your social profiles and you're getting an internal server error, as an example, then you, as we are today, then you can reach out to them and they will be able to provide support for you. So you have this, oh, here it is. Under your top right corner, you have the Submit a Support Ticket. So you'll be able to type in whatever your difficulties are that you're having. So what your company name is, what your name is, what your email address is, the subject, the description, and the NUVI product you're having a difficult time with. So that's that. So
I'm sorry, where was that? Where was the chat feature? I dropped my pen.
That's okay. In the top right-hand corner of the page where you can see usually an icon for your login.
Okay.
You have personal settings, social profiles, manage users, manage agency support, submit a support ticket. Now your menu options may change a little bit depending on what your permissions are, but you'll always have submit a support ticket.
Got it.
It used to be all the time just sitting kind of at the bottom right-hand corner. They've just changed that. Let me try and go in this way to social profiles and see if it works or if I'm still going to have the same issue. Okay, good. This is the page that I was looking for. So this is my Greenwood Hospitality Group page. So you'll notice there's a whole lot of stuff in here. Now what I've done for our properties for the most part is provided I have logged into my account on, so let me be more specific. Each of our properties is considered its own company. Each of those companies has its own social media profiles associated with it. So the Holiday Inn Express in downtown Detroit is a separate company and has different social profiles than all of our other properties. For most of our hotels, I have gone in and linked up all of your social media platforms for you. Facebook being the biggest one, because what happens is your personal social media, your personal Facebook profile is the main point of contact. So every now and again, as we saw when we were scheduling out through the Embassy Suites in Oklahoma City, sometimes that profile winds up back there because the publishing feature is checked off. So if you find that that's the case, or rather if you would rather not have your own profile there, please let me know. I'm happy to go in and make sure that your property is listed, that your accounts are all there, and I can always go in and re-authenticate if there's ever a time where re-authentication is needed. Now the major reason why re-authentication might be necessary is if you have to change your password. And again, that's something I generally try not to do just for purposes like this. But if that is the case, it's certainly fine. So I'll show you one quick thing in Facebook. All of you who are social media champions have the ability to add a social media profile. If you don't see this option, then please let me know. I can open up your permissions. But let's say, as an example, you work with multiple businesses. So you might have the hotel that you are a manager of, but you might also have your local YMCA where you're a volunteer, and you might have that page listed there as well. So like as an example, I'm working with Save the Sea, Go Plastic Free, which is a plastic-free Florida campaign. And I don't want this to be listed, so I would be able to uncheck publishing and uncheck channels, and those would no longer appear on either the channels reporting page or on the publishing page.
Okay.
Now this one doesn't matter because the re-authentication is needed, which is why it's giving me an internal server error, but generally you would just be able to hit the publishing or the channels and deselect any of those. Any questions about that?
Hey, Emily, just looking back at Wichita, why don't you have the wedding page on that?
Depends on
Fairly new, maybe that's why.
It is new,
Yeah, but she created it.
It may very well be. This is the main Greenwood page. It's different than the individual platforms. So Kelly may very well have those, or OKC may very well have that on their individual page. It may just not be listed here because, again, this is the main Greenwood login.
Okay.
So it doesn't show all of those, but we can take a look at that.
Okay.
David, I totally missed what you were referring to. Depends on whom you ask. It's always been my understanding. However, it was recently confirmed. I'm missing it. I'm missing what you're referring to. So the other area that I'll show you, again, Twitter is a specific login for that one channel, so you can go ahead and add it here. You have the option to just add a profile. It'll open up a new tab and ask you to authorize the application. Now the trick is, you'll notice here, I'm logged in right now through Chisholm, so you'll want to make sure that you go to Twitter and log into the right account before you add it to your NUVI account. Okay. So otherwise you might accidentally add the wrong account. Instagram is fantastic because what NUVI will actually let you do is it will let you schedule a post ahead of time, and what happens is, in order to publish, it will send you a text message. So at the time that you've scheduled the post to go out, it will send you a message including the body of the text message will be the copy that you've written, and it'll attach a photo. So you can just download that and then go into the app and add it. Okay. Yes, the spelling of Jocko is really totally depends on who you ask. I was told it was I thought it was Jocko at first, and then they told me it was not. It was Jocho, and I've seen it spelled myriad ways, so whatever works for you all. Okay, so with Instagram, it's automatically going to be selected to work for the channels, but if you want to be able to schedule or post, you need to authorize publishing. So let's say I have AdLib, Prof Kitchen and Bar. I can go ahead and select posting, and what it's going to do is I'll add the phone number for the person that should be getting the text message, and I'll type that in. They'll get a text message confirming that it's okay for them to have those sent, and then voila, you'll be able to post. So that's one important section in this area here as well. Any questions at all about this?
There will be.
Okay. You just let me know.
Okay.
I'm happy to pop on a call and go through a quick demo of a particular feature that you're missing. You can always refer back to this training again because it will be recorded.
Cool.
And as new features come out, we can always address those as they come up.
All right. Thanks, Emily.
You're welcome. So with publishing, we've gone through posts. Specifically, what the difference between the copy, the tags, the videos, photos, and links. We've also shown how to save them to drafts and edit them from drafts. We've also seen how to schedule them and edit those scheduled posts as well as deleting them. And now we've gone through how to add new channels and update Instagram so that you can schedule to the platform. If you ever know that you've added a platform and you're not seeing it somewhere, if you're not seeing the ability to publish to it or you're not seeing the ability to pull a report for it, go back to this social profiles page and it should appear there for you. So again, we were having a hard time getting to it through the admin channel, admin platform, but you should have the option in the top right-hand corner in your personal menu. You should be able to add those social profiles there as well. So that's your other workaround. Any questions about publishing before we continue on? I'm going to take a quick look in the calendar section of this so that we can look through that together, but then we'll move on to channels. Any other questions?
Nope.
Cool. Okay. So we already saw this monthly calendar view. Again, I'm going to go back to a property that has some goodies posted, so I'll use Embassy Suites. You can see they've got content posted on a good chunk of days. There are some here where they have 5 pieces of content that were posted in one day, which is totally fine. They had this one post, Happy Birthday Donna, went out onto 3 of their pages. Okay. They had a Christmas decoration that went out to their main OKC page, and then they had a Fido Friday post that went out as well. So you have all of those posts appearing there. You can also see there are some of these where they have a number of posts scheduled. So again, if I click into that date, I can see that I've got these. Now these are pre-scheduled. These ones aren't actually posted, but you can see I've got this New Year's Eve post scheduled to the main page. I have Happy Birthday Alfredo scheduled to all of the Embassy pages. And then I also have this wonderful Spanish language post as well. They do a really good job of doing multi-language posts because they serve a very large Spanish-speaking population. So you'll notice that it's both in Spanish as well as in English. It looks like it's a Wedding Wednesday post. Monday, Tuesday, yeah, looks like it's a Wedding Wednesday post. So you can see all of those. There's also the option to view this in a week format. So this is great to bring to a social media meeting or a sales meeting, things like that. You can go ahead and just kind of see where you stand on any given day. And we have, of course, the same functionality. You can go in and click through and see all of the posts that are scheduled. And you're able to flip through week by week. So I can come to my current week, or I can go ahead to a future week, see all the posts that are scheduled out there. And then there's also list view, which just goes over just that, a list of all of the posts that are upcoming. So we have the 19th, the 22nd, the 24th, the 27th, and there's goes on all the way through till January 3rd. And they have many more beyond that, but it only goes out so far. So again, these are other good ones to bring to meetings if you need to kind of see what's upcoming. Any other questions about the calendar page?
I mean, what was the platform before this, or was it always been NUVI?
We didn't have one.
We didn't.
Nope, there was no social media collaboration tool before this. We used an Excel spreadsheet for a content calendar, which was relatively mostly ineffective, but there was nothing to schedule posts ahead of time to multiple platforms. So at that point, a lot of our properties were just using Facebook, so it's totally fine in that case to just schedule through Facebook. But now we have such a robust social presence. A lot of our properties are using Facebook and Google Plus and LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And so this platform allows us to schedule to all of those at the same time.
I remember that Excel spreadsheet. That's what I was thinking, the content calendar, yeah.
Yes. So this is our content calendar now, because again, we can go through and take a look at if we need to, if we know we want to post things on particular days, but we're waiting for photos or things like that. Yeah. We can leave those all in there and just say, okay, we need to refer back to this because we've got to get a bunch of Wedding Wednesday stuff out. We're just waiting for photos, but we've got the content. So you can save those as drafts and then go back in later.
It's definitely simplified the process, without a doubt.
Yeah. So then we have all of the history here as well, which is really helpful. It's pretty simple. It just basically goes through any of the changes that have happened within the page. So if I made an edit to a post, you can kind of track back and see who made that edit. So Jesse, as an example, if you're finding that somebody the posts you're seeing, something's happening to them, or the post that you're doing, something's happening to them, you can come in and see what updates, if it was updated, if it was canceled, if it was viewed, whatever the thing might be. And you'll notice, of course, basically all of these are me because actually I don't know why most of them are me, but you can see, yeah, there's some changes here. All from me. Oh, you know what? No, these are because this is my main platform. So these are all the posts that have gone out, and it just so happens that my Google Plus account is the main Google Plus account that all those businesses are off of, the same way that Facebook would be.
Okay.
So you'll notice that there were changes, updates to my thingy, but Jesse will be able to see some changes there as well if there's any weird things that come up. So cool. Update, delete, cancel, things like that. All right, so if there are no other questions about the publishing section, that is the most in-depth portion of the NUVI platform and what we use it most for. We'll move on to channels. So channels is a very, it's a cool section of the platform. It allows us to see both in a snapshot and in a long-term view the performance of our platform. So this is very helpful if you know already what your key performance indicators are. And what I mean when I say key performance indicator is the tangible measure or tangible metric that tells us how we're doing on social. So if brand awareness is one of my business goals, if I'm a new new hotel or a new restaurant, launched a new restaurant, rebranded, it doesn't matter. Brand awareness is always going to be one of my #1 business goals, brand awareness. I need people to know that I am here, who I am, what I'm about, where I am. So if brand awareness is one of my business goals, then one of my social media goals can mirror that and be page awareness. So for people to know my social media pages and to be able to see them. So what that might mean for me is, so I've got my business goal, I can narrow that down to a social media goal, and if page awareness is one of my social media goals, then I know that one of my key performance indicators is going to be how many people like my page and how many people have seen my page. So those are tangible metrics. I can point to the number of likes on a page, I can point to the number of views on a page, and if I see that that number is increasing, I know that I'm successful. Does that make sense?
Yes,
everybody?
Oh, very much so.
Cool. So all of that information, the business goals to the social goals to the KPIs, those all refer back to our content generation trainings that we've done and workshops that we've worked through. You can also refer back to the initial social media trainings, and it goes more in depth into that. But that's why we do that social media planning, or the 2018 or whatever year, it doesn't matter, but your yearly, quarterly, and monthly strategies. We do that so that we can make sure that these are focused for us. So you're not just looking at these and going, oh, look, we have an increase in likes, which is good generally, but doesn't always matter. If you have an increase in likes, but you're not seeing any click-throughs to the website or any bookings off of the social platform, then you might be reaching a bunch of people, but you might be reaching the wrong people, and that might not be what your goal is. So from the main channels page, I can click into any of my platforms. It allows me to see Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Google Plus doesn't allow us any of those analytics. Google loves Google, so they only see their analytics. They won't let you see anybody else. They won't let anybody else access their analytics. They're very private about that. But the cool thing about this, I actually want to see if I can get to a platform that's got, let me see if I can find anything. I wonder if the Henry still has some active stuff on here. Cool, they do. So I'm going to go into the Henry's Facebook page because they have a lot of content that goes out. So this is a great example of a very active page. So this is, again, just my snapshot view within my channels platform. Every dot is a post. It could be a big post, it could be a simple comment post, it could be a video, a photo, it doesn't matter, but it shows it in this great timeline that shows the day that it was posted on November 20th at 9:40 a.m. or November 23rd at 6:05 p.m. And the size of the bubble talks about how many likes, the visibility of it. So the bigger the bubble, the more people have seen it. And then once you scroll over it, you can see what the engagement was. So for this particular post on November 30th at 5:27 p.m., we had 13 likes, 3 comments, and no shares. So you can see that the circle around the bubble is part green, part orange, and you can see the size of the bubbles increased. It also allows you to go through and see your post impressions. You can see over here on the right-hand side, there's always a preview of all the posts that you've had that have already published out with, again, you can see how many likes, shares, and comments that you have to it. And then if I were to click into the comments, I would actually be able to add a comment to that post. So again, this is a good way for me to be able to engage with people who have commented on my posts. So again, we have one comment here. That's absolutely correct. And then I can say, haha, you're right, or whatever, and it adds that comment. So I have my, over here, back here on the left-hand side, again, we saw page impressions. Page impressions is the number of views that you have for, I'm sorry, this is post impressions. So this is the number of views that I have for a particular post. And this is by day, not by post. So you can see there was a big spike on November 20th in our paid posting. So this tells me that we probably had a paid campaign going on. And you can see that there's another little bump over here at the beginning of December where we probably also put a little bit of money towards advertising. But you can see there's also a bump before that around organic posts, organic views for posts, and that also allows you to see your totals overall. So this is how many unique, and this is how many people might have come back and seen it again. Then we also have engagement by post date, feedback, so positive feedback would be like or love or haha, and negative might be sad or angry. So engagement by post date, again, see how many likes, shares, and comments by a particular day. Likes for my page overall, how many days I gained likes and how many days I lost likes. This is a good way. You want to make sure you've always got a net gain. And if I'm losing a lot of followers, that might mean a couple of things. It could mean that I need to shift the type of content that I have going out, or it could mean that I need to post less often. So generally, if you're seeing a high loss rate, it means that you've got some changes that we need to make. Any questions so far?
No.
Okay. So taking a look, we also have page impressions again. If my goal is brand awareness, then my social goal would be page awareness. Then page impressions, how many people have seen my page, is really important. So I want to keep an eye on that. Also, if you're doing video content, it has the video views. And then my favorite section is here at the bottom. I have my demographics. So this is really important because it helps you talk to the right people. So if I'm doing a lot of very sports-heavy, get your wife this gift content, and then I come in here and I realize that I've got a lot of people that are, women 18 to 24, 25 to 34, I might need to shift that content. Sports content may still be totally right, but perhaps having a whole thing about how to get together with the guys for a big sports day doesn't work for this particular demographic. So we need to be mindful and sensitive to the needs of our customers. So we can take a look at the geographics as well, which is particularly helpful because if I'm posting a lot about what's going on very locally, so city council meeting tonight as an example, but a lot of my followers are from other cities or other countries, that might not be relevant content for them. So I can take a look here. I can see the countries overall, so I can see here that the Henry has a lot of countries that follow them, which makes sense because they work with the automotive industry. But you can take a look here and see that from the city view, I have a number of people that are following me from Dearborn, more from Detroit, and then I also have some from Chicago, Grand Rapids, New York. So it gives you a breakdown of the cities where everybody is coming from.
That is incredible.
Yeah, so it's really good, useful information.
Yeah, I like that part a lot.
So then I can also go through at any point and take a look at the posts. So this will tell me I can do a time frame. I can sort it by most recent or most liked, least liked, most commented, least commented, most shares, least shares. It doesn't really matter. I can sort it however I want to. And I can do all posts, my posts, or posts on my timeline. So, so you can kind of go and see a snapshot of all of that. So I can go through and see the analytics are a little different for every platform, but basically laid out the same. So posts by the day of the week, engagement by post date, post by time of the day. And this is for Instagram, so then I can see the timeline and see how many posts were done to my timeline. Posts by engagements by date, all that same great information that we were looking for before. And then I also have the option to see the particular post that I've done. You can see obviously that the Henry has a lot of elf on the shelf going on right now, or Tria does rather. Some really beautiful photos in here. And then I also have my Pinterest page. We haven't done any pins to the Henry in some time, but just to show you that it is available there. And then I also have the option to create a report. So this is great at the end of the month if I want to see how the Tria, let's see, if I want to see how the Henry's Instagram and Facebook pages are doing, I can select a particular timeline. So I'm going to do last month, and I will sort the sample posts by most liked, and I'll create the report. When you first create the report here in NUVI, it's really nice. It has this beautiful cover. It's great, very accessible for general managers even. So we can interact with this report a little bit. Some of the same functionality appears as it did before. You can see this great scroll page of the most liked posts from that period of time. and then it goes seamlessly into my next platform. So again, whether it be, Pinterest or Twitter or Instagram, it doesn't matter, all of it will appear very nicely. And then I have the option to either print it right from here, or I can export it as a PDF, which is very great, very helpful. So that covers our channels section as well. Any questions, comments, thoughts, reflections about the channels section?
No.
Okay. All right. So I'm also going to take a look very briefly into monitors. I don't know that I have any set up right now for, oh, I do have some for the Henry. So what monitors does is it pulls in all of the social media data from main platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, blogs and things like that, and it pulls it all together for us to view in one place. Now, we share a certain number of monitors for the entire Greenwood portfolio. So I don't open this up to everybody to use unless you've gone through the NUVI monitors training before. And for some of our properties, it's not as pertinent because people might not be posting often about your property. So this is often used with major brands like Puma, Nike, things like that. They'll use something like this to see how often people are mentioning Puma or Nike, or they can just see how many times people are mentioning their competitors. For our properties, it's a little bit different because obviously we don't need to pull in all the content for all of the Hiltons or all of the Marriotts or all of the Autograph collections. We're going to be looking about people who are posting and talking about our particular property because we're in a geolocation that narrows that down quite a bit. So you can see an overview, but really what I would be looking for within here is to be able to kind of make edits to the monitors. So I'll go into that page so that you can see it. So we're doing topic monitors. This follows Boolean logic, which is the same way that you can categorize things on Google. So Boolean logic is outstanding. If you don't know anything about it, if that sounds like a different language to you, Google it. Do yourself a favor. It's going to make it so much easier when you're searching for emails in your inbox, when you're looking for stuff on Google. It really narrows everything down really nicely. So you can include topics about, like as an example, you would want to use your @ tags for the property or the hashtags for the property. But you might find out that there are certain types of content that come through that you don't need. So you can see that they filtered out Donald Trump as an example because it happened to be coming up at some point with some of these somehow, and they didn't want to see it.
What's the logic called again, Emily?
Boolean logic.
Spell, please.
Oh, good question. E-A-U-L.
E-A-U-L.
No. Boolean.
Like a bouillon cube? No.
I don't know. Google will correct it for me. Boolean. B-O-O-L-E-A-N.
E-A-N. There it is. Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. So you can use Boolean search logic, and that will tell you how to narrow things down. So it's using and certain things within quotation marks and commas to make delineations between different types of content. So it's very helpful. It's like Dewey Decimal System for the digital age, so it's a great way to help narrow things down.
Cool.
But we can take a look here, make any edits that you want to, and then again I would be able to go back in once I've saved the monitor, and I can see an overview from a particular period. I can see my comparisons of time that people have mentioned me, who has mentioned me. I can see a feed that comes up with all of those mentions. So how many people have posted about me. And then this is a good one as well because it helps me decide if I need to get rid of certain things. And you can also see what hashtags are trending in association with that. You can break down by specific network. So if I want to see only Facebook or if I want to see only Instagram, it'll allow me to break those down in that way. And then I can see a stream as well, which looks a lot like the post, our post that we saw before, where I can go in and see if it was a positive and negative and how much reach it got. So this positive post, Today's Good Mood, is sponsored by, and that looks like it's from an autograph collection hotel. Or negative ones, which doesn't seem negative at all to me, actually. So there we go. You can also see maps to see where people are posting from, which is another great way to see if people are posting in the wrong area. So you see there's a lot going on here in Central and South America. So it might be the wrong property. We saw for the Henry, we used to see a lot coming out of the Philippines because there's also a Henry Hotel in the Philippines. So there was like a big, green blob off in the middle of the ocean. That wasn't ours. You can also see, again, within our particular area, what is mentioned in association with it. And again, to make sure that we're getting engaged in the right conversations. Or you can see the cloud. It's just a whole bunch of ways to visualize the content. So again, there's a full training about this. I won't go into it too in depth, but just know that you can do a lot to track how many people are mentioning your property. And that, in a nutshell, is NUVI. Are there any particular areas that you all need me to go back into that you want to take another look at? Any questions that you have that have come out of this?
Does it work in the reverse? Like if I post something on Facebook and I don't do it through NUVI, does NUVI pick it up?
Yes. Yeah,
Wonderful.
the Henry is now using Sprout Social, and you're still able to see all of the posts that are there. Now, if you're scheduling posts through Facebook, they won't appear in NUVI. So it's dangerous for collaboration in that regard because you run the risk of either duplicating efforts or of not seeing all of that content in one place. So if you're using this for a collaborative scheduling tool, I highly recommend scheduling, particularly scheduling everything through Facebook. If you're doing a Facebook Live event, if you're posting an event, if you want to post a collection of photos, things like that, if you want to do those through Facebook, or your spontaneous posts. So Instagram's a great one for that, obviously, because what NUVI does is it allows me to schedule things through. I text them to my phone, and then I post on Instagram. But all of that content still appears on NUVI. That doesn't mean that if I don't schedule a post through NUVI, that those sporadic posts I'm doing on Instagram aren't still going to come through. But again, for collaborative purposes, I highly recommend going through NUVI in all cases, unless there's, you need to do an event, which NUVI doesn't do, or you want to create a photo album, which NUVI doesn't do. But for scheduling, I highly recommend doing that. Okay,
gotcha. But you could always create that album in the other platform and then post it through NUVI, right?
Yes, you would be able to post a link to the album, but NUVI has a cap on how many photos you can post. So you can do 5, I think it's 5, it might be 10, but 5 or 10 at a time, and those count as a post. Anything more than that is an album.
Okay.
And this is a little, I haven't really come up with a good metaphor for it, because I love good metaphors to help illustrate what the differences are. But basically, adding an album is a change to the page, whereas posting is just a communication. So anytime you're making a change to the page, if I'm adding an event, that event is changed the page in some way. All of those page changes would need to go through Facebook itself. NUVI will allow you to do postings.
Okay.
Does that all make sense? Any questions, comments, thoughts, reflections?
It makes sense. Thank you for helping.
Oh, you're very welcome. Go ahead.
I do have some, a couple questions,
of course.
mostly to the sites that we work with NUVI. For example, I've been posting through Facebook, not through NUVI, just because this is my first time kind of interacting with it, and it's very intuitive. But there are some things that it can't do, like it won't allow me to go view another page and like that page.
Correct.
So I'm having trouble getting logged into all of our different sources, like our Instagram and our Twitter and stuff, to be able to go and do those things. I don't have access to get into those.
Yes, so I saw your email. I'm going to send you a note that includes the login information for your Instagram and Twitter account. So you'll be able to go in, as we saw earlier, from the top right-hand corner and add those social profiles. And then once you do that, you'll be able to schedule out through all of those platforms. I believe I'm still waiting for full management access to your Google Plus page. Marriott Maps should have it, but it's Starwood, and I think there's a duplicate page. So I'm still waiting for that to be cleared up.
Okay.
But once that's cleared up, you'll also be able to add Google Plus. And if you're an admin on the LinkedIn page, which I can do for you, actually, I think you are. I think I made you an admin on the LinkedIn page. You'll be able to go in and add LinkedIn as well. So you can schedule out to all of those platforms through NUVI. And let me actually take a quick look.
I see that I was able to post to everything, and I can schedule things from NUVI. But like even for Facebook, for example, I've been working a lot in Facebook, not using NUVI, just on Facebook specifically. On Facebook, I am not able to like a page as the Reichert House. I'm not able to. What's that?
There's a trick to that. It shouldn't give you difficulty. It shouldn't give you difficulty. Let me, as an example, I'll go into the Glidden House. And if you needed to like it as the page, and it shouldn't matter whether you're an admin or a manager or an editor. Okay. This should all be fine. Like, you should not have a difficulty with this regardless of that level of permission. I think I have you in as an editor or manager.
I'm in as editor.
Yeah, so that I'll make sure that you've got the correct permissions set, but you should be able to go in here and like as your page. And if you're not seeing your page there, remind me, but I'll take a look at your permissions to make sure that they're set effectively. But that's a Facebook conundrum, not a NUVI conundrum. That would be unrelated to this.
Yeah. Okay.
Are there any other things within NUVI, Jesse, that you're having a hard time seeing or getting access to?
Not with NUVI, just outside of NUVI.
Cool. Okay. Anything else? Any other questions, comments, thoughts, reflections from anybody?
No, not yet, Emily.
Cool. David and Lori, if you need access to the Greenwood level so that you can make sure that the properties it would allow you access to all of our hotel's company pages on NUVI so you can see the performance of each one of them. Please let me know. It's just done by a quick, simple email invite, and you would have access the same way that I do to be able to see all of the pages, all of the companies and how they're performing. So it allows us to offer that kind of additional level of assistance to new restaurants and hotels and things like that. So, okay. Well, if there are no other questions, I will let you all go 3 minutes. If you need anything else, again, please don't hesitate to reach out and let me know. And this, I'll get this uploaded onto our YouTube channel today so that you all can enjoy it over the holiday.
Thanks, Emily.
Thank you all.
Thank you.